Well, Mark, 12 tries, 83 points, but ultimately maximum points a year. That's the thing. Can you sum up that crazy game?
Not really. I think you summed it up crazy. I think we let it get out of control ourselves. I think we were part of the problem, really. The good thing was we had enough of solutions, during the game to get the job done. So as I just said to players, rather focus on what we did well in there than dwell too much on what we didn't. It's pretty obvious what we didn't do well, and it was on the defensive side of the ball. And it wasn't poor all the time. It was just very inconsistent. And when you play a team like Connacht, who are very good, they'll work out pretty quickly where you're vulnerable, and they'll go after it. And they did, and they were very, very ruthless around that area. So it'll be good learnings for us. There's a lot of tough tests to come, a lot of good attacking teams to come. So we're going to need to make sure that we're back to what we've been previous to this game.
So he gets to the end. There was when you had a hooker in the back where you had a centre who had to play at the back. You had outside half and scrum half, just in the way that you actually held on in that last 4 minutes.
Yeah, 100%. I say held on. We actually driving them back into their own half. So that's what I liked about it. We were just receiving it and going back towards our own line. We were actually attacking them without the ball, which is kind of what we talked around really in the week. But look, the boys worked hard this week in training. We worked them particularly hard because we know there's potentially very, very little downtime between now and the end of the season, depending on how Europe goes, etc. So we wanted to get a bit of work into the boys because we felt, there might be times where we need to ease off as the season goes. And I think maybe, I'm looking at myself there, we might have worked a little bit too hard at the beginning of the week maybe and took a little bit out of the legs. Certainly going to look at that, But the good thing is, we've got to win. We've picked up some injuries, but the boys are tough and we've got very good replacements. We've got a good squad of guys that will come in and the next man will carry on with the previous one left off.
How were the injuries? A couple of them look quite nasty, are they?
Yeah, I think there's some variations in them. So James Fender's had a bump on the head. Kieran's had a little twist to his knee, so we're just looking at that, but he's up walking around. Ruben's got a little shoulder issue. So at the moment, Tom Vother took a knee on knee. So there's injuries, but we're hopeful that a lot of them will clear up over the next few days and we'll know a bit more. But could certainly do without. Could have certainly done without them for sure.
You started the game in 13th. You're now in 7th. To prove how important that win was, just on how tight it is, how important it could be in the top 8 race.
Well, if you want to jump up 5 places in the league, there's a lot of effort involved, and that's we can look at the league table. It doesn't lie. It tells you how competitive the league is. It tells you how good the players in the league are, and we've been chipping away at our results over the last 10 weeks, and hopefully the boys are in a position now where we get something that we can really get our teeth stuck into and try and stay up there if we can and keep climbing.
Morgan, what would you like to play him?
It was quick. It was tough, yeah. Like you said, probably summed it up a crazy game. It was crazy. It felt like we were like back and forth to both sides, up in their half, back in our half, the shuttles for the whole game. So it's obviously a lot to work at and look at. But at the end of the day, we came away with the 5 points, and we're obviously happy with that as well.
And Mark, I fell on with me. Scarlets twice in 8 days, important games in both competitions. You're looking forward to that, and the local rivals as well. Yeah,
look, we always look forward to the derbies. They're great, aren't they? It's the old you go up against your best mate at certain times of the year. Sometimes it's prior to the Autumn International, sometimes it's prior to the Six Nations, so there's lots of rivalries with the players. But I think the good thing about this one now is there's a lot on it, around the league, and obviously the week after there's European honours up for grabs. So it's exciting, but look, we've got to just make sure we bottom out this game, take the learnings from it, make sure we set training up well this week, and we'll get in looking at the Scarlets in detail and play them the respect they deserve, because they're obviously a good side.
You did look a bit sluggish to start, and then you got to the grips of the game, and the scrum got on top, didn't it? And that try from the scrum, working out with the outside half having gone on the wing, was a superb bit of tactical genius, wasn't it? I mean,
yeah, look, there's a lot of work that goes in with the coaches in their own areas around identifying opportunities. Duncan does a great job with the scrum, and it's in isolation. You've got fast looking at the attack stuff, and then you've got the bits in between there around the contact area and the phase shapes after it. So there's lots of components to it, but you need everybody's area to be flourishing for it to work. And like you say, there's some lovely tries scored there, offloading, keeping the ball alive. We talked around Irish teams being brutal at the breakdown, and we wanted to limit the amount of contact areas. So I thought the boys did really well around that. And look, I go back to the start. Really, there's loads of positives in the game. It's about a case of just can we try and win a game without having to score 43.
What happened to Tips?
He had a little back spasm during the first half. He was uncomfortable at half time. Yeah. We had Tristan coming back from injury. We trust what Tristan's about, and for me it was a no-brainer. We've got a fit guy there chomping at the bit. ready to go. Got a guy there who's struggling. Trust the squad. We're going to need the whole squad in the next couple of months. So it's a great opportunity for Tristan to get some minutes under his belt. So yeah, that was just purely trust the next guy.
Morgan, there seems to be a real appetite from the forwards in particular, to knuckle down, get on top, and whoever, as Mark said, whoever comes in does the job just like the person who's been there before it.
Yeah, definitely. Historically, Ospreys have always been a dominant pack, and us coming in now, we don't want to change that at all. We still want to keep that dominance in scrum, mauls, and I think if you look at training, we got 2, maybe 3 packs which all challenge each other. So for the squad, that's awesome. That's all we want is 16 forwards all fighting each other to get a spot, and I think that's making us all better every week. So yeah, for us as a squad, it's awesome to have a competition. Nobody's place is safe every week, which is exactly what we want as a team.
And Mark's at a 10 for the returning second row.
It's got to be 10 really.
Sorry, Graham Gillespie. Red button him.
80. We were expecting 80 minutes from Adam Baird there, but he's been out for 4
No,
months.
50 were planned.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, 50 were planned. The beauty of the science now, though, is we know what he's done in the week for the GPS, and he was way under actually where he had been in the week. So we knew we had a bit more in him than 50, so we got him to roughly 67. But it came to the point when Tristan had his bump. Then we're thinking, well, we're all in now. And he
kicked it off the field.
and what was important was, he was worried I was going to keep him up there for extra time.
I've had enough.
I think he went over the top of the stand. I say to him after the game, look, mate, I'm really sorry we weren't able to get you off there where we designed it. And he said, mate, I was prepared to go 80 plus, and that's what a top pro does, and they have one idea in their head, but they prepare themselves for the ultimate. That's what international player does. So, it was awesome to have him back, wasn't it? He was up there like a...
You can't play for 3 weeks now.
I hope not. But it's great. There was a few boys back actually. Steph, Tom was back. We had Phil Cock and a singer coming back in late to the squad. And so there were a few boys coming back and around it today. So it's nice to see the boys around training, good energy. And as Morgs has said, it's adding competition to training in the week. It's making boys push harder, train better, keep their standards higher. So it's only a good thing, and we're going to need them. We're going to need them between now and May.
Chris, just some thoughts on Jack Watts' man of match performance. He looked tidy.
He's not a bad player, is he? He looked tidy. You're a tough. He looked very tidy, I would say. Yeah, no, he was very good. We know he's a player that can bring our game alive with the ball, in particular. He's got great feet. He's deceptively quick, actually. He's very fit. And he's got a good skill set, so he joins our game up around, trying to get the ball to the edge or playing through the middle. So, but what I was impressed with him today was just his work ethic, just backfield, covering space, killing the last attacker. We had a lot of overlaps to deal with tonight, and he made good decisions on when to be aggressive and when not to be. So, he had an all-court game today. I was pretty proud of him out there. I was proud of all the boys. Always am. It's very rare that you're not proud of the effort of the boys, but. Yeah, he was one of many guys that played particularly well. The guy next to me won bad either. So, there's a lot of boys out there that can be really happy with their work. It was more the collective effort without the ball tonight that I think we were a bit frustrated with. But look, we won't let that get in the way of as you say, a bonus point win at home in front of our fans.
Can I ask you about Jack Morgan? The captain, the campaign is over. He is one player that's certainly impressed. How do you think that he's sort of handled... he comes across as a very sort of confident person. How was he, in your eyes, handled the captaincy and a lot of adversity?
He's done a world-class job of it because he's a world-class bloke and he's a world-class player. So I think he's been incredible to deal with the type of pressure that he's been having on him as a young captain, because he's still very young. Don't forget that. I've never been in that position before. Such a long, streak. I think he's been incredible, and I think that's why we didn't involve him this week. The mental strain as well as the physical one, we felt it was important to let him just go away and take stock of it, because we want him to feel excited about coming back in and fresh. So he's done an incredible job. He's a great bloke, and to be honest with you, I think I didn't expect much else really, because that's the type of guy he is. He's brilliant.
You're going to throw him 2 Scarlets games, you? Come on, Jack, have those. That'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he's away in Gran Canaria at the moment, so when I saw the Heathrow flights, I hope he hasn't flown from Heathrow. So no, look, we'll get him back in the building, we'll see how he's feeling, and we'll make a decision on selection. We'll bottom out where the boys are, and look, we'll pick a side we think that can do the job in Parc y Scarlets in a week's time.
Where's Davesy?
Yeah, DZ had a nasty bump. Actually, we trained against Gloucester about 10 days ago, and he took a, well, I said nasty bump. He took a little bump in training. Hasn't been feeling 100% off the back of it. So the decision was, look, let's just give him an opportunity to get himself right with the run of games coming, and we had a bit of cover in that area to play as well. So, yeah, we're hoping he'll be back around it next week. If not, the week after. Just depends on how he goes over the next few days, really.
What's the incentive to be around the Scarlets games? How's he looking?
Yeah, he's got a personal matter at the moment that we've allowing him to spend time with his family, and we feel that's important. So we've just given him the time to get that right, and then once that bottoms out, then we'll see where he's at and where we can go next with him.
Like I was just saying to you, but he came in the every game this weekend. I think it was a one-score game in the league, which the table is toe-to-toe about close it is, and the games are showing it as well, aren't they? Yeah,
100%. You know, that's, as I said earlier, without apologise if I'm repeating myself, but that's the level of the league at the moment. You know, we've got the second last team in the table out in the Sharks today, almost getting a win and going up to 7th themselves in the league, you know, up until the last few minutes. So there's competition everywhere. There's the depth of your squad is going to be tested over the next month or two, and you know, we'll be better for this performance. It was good in parts, but obviously we know we're going to need to be better with the challenges that are coming, because, you know, we got out of jail a little bit tonight, and we won't always have that privilege of that.
The other thing is, like, you get two Welsh teams in the playoffs. Scarlets are still in the hunt for trying to get there. Yeah, it's been a difficult period, but there are reasons to be positive on the regional front, certainly.
Oh yeah, look, I think the regions have been competitive all year. If you look at who they've beaten and where they've won, and actually how close some teams have come to winning. You know, Scarlets have had 1 point games a lot. Yeah. We've got over the top of some good sides earlier in the year and more latterly. So, look, there's always going to be negativity around Welsh rugby when the national team has lost, you know, whatever it is, 14 or 15 games, right? It's human nature. But that doesn't mean that there's not good rugby players that are being produced in the country. It doesn't mean we haven't got good ones playing right now. We're just struggling to get a little bit of cohesion together at the moment as a group and a little bit of momentum. And I'm sure when we get that, you'll see the best out of these players moving forward. And our jobs in the regions is to make sure that we try and speed that up as quickly as we can.
Well, you want to be competing with things, so you've got an exciting few weeks ahead, haven't you?
Yeah, well, 3 out of the 4 regions at the moment are all competing, both in Europe and the league. So, you know, Dragons are chipping away and doing their best, but things are not going their way at the moment. And the other 3, you know, we're right in there, and we're going to go toe-to-toe with the other nations for as long as we can. So, you know, we'll have to just see how far that can take us.
Go and have a lie down, Morgan.
Thank you. Sorry about the water. I apologise. This good job, it's not an expensive laptop.
Much appreciated.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers, you.
Thanks, man.
No worries, boys. Good to shake.